Okay, so hey everyone, it's Jason here. Now I thought I'd experiment a bit with a format of video where I actually now have it in landscape, because up to now I've been using my little recording device here in portrait. And so I thought, well, actually, why not read a little bit of the service article on the World Badminton rules by worldbadminton.com. And so, for example, I was playing badminton with someone. There was a bit of the discrepancy in the understanding exactly with regards to how one performs the service. I was of the argument that you would perform a service, say, for example, if you were if the player who's performing the service was on an even number, they'll say from the even side, which is the right side in badminton, and vice versa. And he was actually of the opinion that irrespective of what the player is on, it all comes down. The service is determined by the oddity or evenness of the number when the overall score is summated. So let's see what the actual service rules have to say about this matter. So, in a correct service, neither side shall cause undue delay. Well, that's obvious. Moment any start shall be considered to be okay. Well, there we go. So it says here the server and the receiver shall stand within diagonally opposite. Well, we all know that. That's how we serve diagonally. The service racket shall initially hit the base of the shuttle. Yeah, well, it's quite clear. Continue forward from the start of the service line. So we already know all this stuff. That's not what's in dispute. Okay, so let's have a little look at singles. So we're playing a singles match, so this is pertinent to our particular setup. Sorry, I just had to burp. Single. So serving and receiving courts. It says the player shall serve from and receive in their respective right service courts when the server has not scored or has scored an even number of points in that game. Well, that seems to be commensurate with what I was saying. The player shall serve from and receive in their respective left service courts when the server has scored an odd number of points in that game. And the emphasis there, I should say, is on the server, not the sum of the points accumulated in the game. It's done in respect of the server. So it would seem that my understanding on that is accurate. Order of play and position on court. Serving and scoring. It says here, if the server wins a rally, the server shall score a point. Yes, the server shall even serve again from the alternate service court. Yes, that's how I've always done it. If the server wins a rally, the receiver shall score a point. The server shall then become the new... Wait, hang on. Am I reading something wrong here? If the server wins a rally... law 7.3. Oh, hang on, here we go. The receiver shall score... Oh, yeah. I was reading the server, but it says receiver quite clearly, doesn't it? I mean, this is why you should take out your little Wally pen, your S Pen, with the little S Pen remote, and you should hover over it there. Not that one. Yeah, get off. Okay, I'm sorry, the thing has crashed. So there we go, receiver. If the receiver wins a rally, the receiver shall score a point. The receiver shall then become the new server. So this parent that I was playing with is very peculiar. He actually taught me one of the most bizarre rules, or one, not even, well, to be honest, it's opposite our rule because it's not written here. One of the most bizarre ways I've ever heard of people playing badminton. He was saying that only the server shall win a point if a point is won. So, for example, if you were to serve first in badminton, and say, for example, the receiver had managed to effectively win the point, the receiver would still not score a point because he hadn't actually served. And I thought that was the most strange rule I've ever heard. I would never play like that. It would make the game take forever. Now, as much as I like badminton, I wouldn't want one going on for that long. Now, let's see if there's any difference in service with doubles, because that's always an important thing to bear in mind. So, serving and receiving courts. A player of the serving side shall serve from the right service court when the serving side has not scored or has scored an even number of points in that game. Now, this is a very important thing to note, because you might say, well, why is it that you take it from the right side even when no score has been acquired? Well, that's because 0 actually isn't even number, so that must be remembered. Or because 0 is nothing doesn't mean to say we don't actually term it a particular number in the phraseology of numbers. A player of the serving side shall serve from the left service court when the serving side has scored an odd number of points in that game. So yeah, it doesn't actually base it on the sum of the actual serve of the overall game score. It does it in respect to who's serving and how many points the side is serving on. So there we go. I think that little discrepancy has been cleared up, and that was also a great example for me to get to test out doing this in landscape mode. this just goes over. One thing actually, and if my friend watches this video, he'll be annoyed with me because I'd really did insist on having done this particular way, but you'll find out next time we play badminton that I was having it done, I'd actually insisted on rules where I confused it with doubles. So let me see if I can actually find out where that is. Okay, so I'll refer to this image here. I can't exactly find explicit rules where it pertains to it on here, but there was actually somewhere on Google where I've read it and it was confirmed. So here, obviously, you have a court, a badminton court, right? Now you have this line here, as you can see with my little pointer. This is the double service line, and this is the single service line. Now, I'd actually previously only really played doubles, at least where the rules were stipulated to me, and I was insisting when I played a singles match with my friends that when you serve, even in a singles match, that the actual doubles long service line is where the actual shuttlecock cannot surpass. Where in fact it's the singles long service line where it cannot cross. So actually it can cross this first line even on the service. I presumed that on the service it couldn't cross it, and only whilst it's past service, so it's then in play, could you have it go up to the back line. As it turns out, I was wrong about that, so in future I'll have to go over that with him. I'm almost relieved because actually I always had this habit of actually hitting it on the service over the line anyway. I do tend to hit it quite far back, so it kind of helps me in any case. Now, I was always correct about the rules with regard to these lines. Clearly, when you're playing doubles, you keep the whole span of the court from this end to this end, and then when you're playing singles, you only use the inner boundary lines on the width ends. So there you go. I hope my friend actually watches this, and he'll probably comment what a swine I am for not he'll probably think all those points he could have won because he can certainly hit it far back anyway.